We got a lot to talk about today. Holy shit. This might be a long stream. I guarantee it's going to be over an hour and a half breaking all this shit down. Because we got a lot to talk about. I only watched half the video, so the other half is going to be kind of a raw reaction. But I think it's there's a lot to unpack here that I don't think can be done in a normal video. So I figured we might as well be here together in chat to talk about this. So grab a cold one. I got Sprite, and we got a lot to talk. We got a lot to break down, and a lot of ranting. So my throat is gonna probably be sore. So, to give you a little context for anybody who doesn't know, but maybe about 10 days ago, something like that, Motorsport Games or NASCAR 21 Twitter made a post that they're going to be doing like a town hall Q&A thing. And today is the 24th, and that's when they're going to do it. I wasn't sure what time until I saw it was going to go up at 6 p.m. I wasn't home at that time, but I came back, watched about the first half of it, and I got a lot to say. And I was ranting to myself like a madman, so I thought, what better way to vent than to at least do it in front of a camera? So, yeah. All I can say from the first 12 minutes is it is a galactic shit show. Like usual. But, gotta put my headset on, obviously, to understand what is being said. But obviously, we're going to be doing this in the EFAP style, which nobody knows what EFAP is. That's basically what Mahler rags and sometimes Fringy. I think Fringy's kind of a permanent guest on there now. But they kind of, watch a video, they play it, they pause, they discuss it, they break things down. So that's kind of what I'm doing. It's going to be very rudimentary. But yes, Chandler, I did see that they turned off their chat. There was chat. And I saw it. I saw the tail end of the live thing on my way home. I saw it, so I only got to see a little bit. But yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they disabled the chat, which I don't even know why that was even open to begin with, because obviously there was going to be a shit show. It was going to be a mess in the comments. And I don't blame people. But title says it's a career mode race. That's not. No, it says breaking down the... Let me check my live stream thing here, because I'm pretty sure that I specifically made sure to change the title for that. Why it did not update it? Well, that's embarrassing. Let's change that now on the live stream. Why can I not change it on the live stream? That's embarrassing. Oh, I thought I had this. I've done this for how long? And I still fuck it up? I'm like, I made sure to save it, so I don't know why on earth it's not showing that up now. All right, let's go to details. Paste. Now it should work properly. I have no idea why on earth it wouldn't do that. That's really weird. It didn't even give me a thumbnail. What? What the fuck? There. That should be fixed now. But yeah, like I said, I don't want to beat around the bush. I don't want to prolong this for too long, even though I already did. But let me just make sure this is accurate. Okay, we good. We good. Thanks for mentioning that. I can't believe I messed that up, because I always make sure to check that. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. So let's just break the video down. Let's just go over it bit by bit, and we can kind of talk about what's wrong with it. So obviously we got music here up at the start. It's what we came to do. It's what we came to do. So I don't care about that. That's irrelevant. So we'll go to here. Let me know if the audio from the thing is all right.
Hi everyone, my name is Dimitri Kosko. I'm the CEO of Motorsport Games. We recognize that our launch of NASCAR 21 Ignition didn't meet some of your expectations.
Some of the expectations. What about all? Again, this is one of the problems when you even come out and do something is you have to be very articulated, and honestly probably need a script. Depending on the person, I would probably need a script to make sure I say the right thing, so I don't say like the Lombard situation where he said he may have offended a girl or something. Like it should have said some. He shouldn't have said some. Shouldn't have said some. Because honestly, almost across the board, a lot of people are not impressed.
And as you guessed, it didn't meet some of ours either.
Some. But you said it was a majority positive. People changed their minds, right? This is the same person that said it, right? Again, this is all PR. This is all trying to kind of save face, kind of try to. It's just very manipulative, because I believe this is the same person that said the community feedback is majority positive. So we went from it being majority. So which is it? Huh? Wait. I don't know. See, this is what happens when you're not honest. You get caught up in a lie, or you get caught up. But yeah, that's already an issue. We didn't even get 30 seconds in the video.
We set out to create really great NASCAR gaming experiences, and we knew that delivering you another NASCAR Heat sequel just wouldn't do the justice.
Part of that is true, but considering what we got, I think people probably would have been honestly satisfied with another Heat. I mean, technically, the true NASCAR 21 is the NASCAR Heat 5 modded stuff. If you really think about it, that is exactly it. That's exactly like even if you look at Steam charts, we can even pull this up now and show you live. NASCAR Heat 5 Steam play count. We can show this live. So right now, 108 people are playing this Heat 5, and across pretty much unanimously every day, it's got about 100 players. Like daily peak. Obviously, it's on my face cam's blocking out, but you see 155, 149, 192, 206. Maybe possibly a lot of that could be Michael Ritz's live streams of this series. I don't know, but it's another possibility. Let me go to NASCAR 21. We can see the Steam charts here. 13. 13, 21, 20, 25. You are barely lucky. This is on Steam. This is just on Steam. So obviously Steam has never been known to have a high player count. And I'm sure on the PS4 and Xbox One, these aren't even close to those numbers. But this gives you an idea, a taste of the player count. Maybe it's, I don't know, but this is just what we see. So objectively, people would rather just go back to a Heat game and probably, considering what we got, probably, honestly, even I probably would have, I can't believe I'm even saying it, but people probably would have been just fine with, honestly, at this case, nobody, I don't think, considering it's a NASCAR 21 mod, to have all the 2021 cars, you would really just need to, well, I mean, it would be impossible, but just add in, Daytona Road Course. You already have Road America. And the other, new tracks they're at on the schedule. And you would be pretty much set. I mean, you already technically have Bristol Dirt in the Dirt Series. But honestly, yeah, people would, even with the game it is now, people would rather go to that than this. So, and I don't know. It's weird to think. It's surreal to think, but these two numbers it definitely shows that people would rather just play Heat 5, which that was already a kind of, let's be clear, it's not a good game. Still a lot of problems, but it is leagues better than 21. So we can just kind of look at those numbers there, and that gives you all the answers you need. So I think in this case, yeah, people would have been just satisfied with just another copy and paste, or even not even make anything at all, because that 2021 mod for the PC already existed, so you didn't even technically need to do that.
So we set on a really tough journey to build it all from scratch.
No, it's not true. It's not all from scratch. Not 100%. So this is another lie. Maybe a thinly veiled one. But we gotta also remember, too, this game has elements from, like, R Factor. A lot of the way the AI trains around the track. The way they're, like, programmed to be, position and everything. That's even how the car kind of bobbles a little bit. A lot of that has R Factor AI elements. So this isn't just a complete copy and paste. Not copy and paste. Complete, like, game from scratch. That is not the whole truth.
Packing it with the latest graphics, the latest physics, AI, etc.
That probably is somewhat true. Graphically, I mean, if you're on, like, PC, it's good. Physics, how the car handles and drives, other than the car turning itself to the right on the straightaways, for the most part is pretty good. Again, it's just it's mirrored or marred in such a disaster that just doesn't save a game. The AI is the biggest problem. I don't think it's the most up-to-date AI. A lot of the R Factor issues stemmed back all the way back to like 2016 and still hasn't been fixed. So who knows how long it would take to even get the AI to be proper in even a future NASCAR game. So who knows? It may not ever be properly accurate.
To try to really bring you, the community, the best possible experience that we could do. And just like many other innovations in the marketplace, when they're launched, they don't always go as smooth. And that's kind of what we experience.
Not kind of. It's what you experienced a lot. People on day one, when they live streamed this game, had a plethora of issues. They don't even have to say anything. They just had to play the game and people can just figure it out for themselves. But in him saying that the game came, with problems, that's another issue with modern gaming, is games are released in almost 90% of the time a mess. Especially with these yearly like sports titles, it's a disaster, an absolute disaster, and that's a problem. That doesn't excuse you to release a game the way that it is, with what you did here. It doesn't excuse it because everyone else is doing it. So I want to make that clear. And at least as far as I've seen from this, they never said that they had to release this. They never say like NASCAR forced them to release it, but it sounds like it was a conscious decision to release it. So it might be an implication NASCAR forced them, but if so, NASCAR's stupid. I'm sorry. They're brain dead. If they told motorsport games, no matter what, they gotta release. Somebody's at fucking blame here. Clearly somebody is at blame here. I would say all parties are at fault, no matter the percentage, but that is another, like, frustrating issue.
Hey, I'm in the middle of recording the 24 Hours of Lemons on Gran Turismo 4, so I'm watching your stream to pass the time. Thank you for keeping me from being boring. I also keep on wrecking trying to send this message while doing this race.
Thank you, JC. I like how it said lemons. Lemons. Oh, that's funny. Thank you so much, JC, for a $10 super chat. You're too nice. Oh. So clearly someone's at blame. Now, the implication based on the wording, now obviously this is all interpretation, but if that's the case, that NASCAR just forced them to release out a bad game, or a unfinished game, then they're just as guilty and just as stupid, and it's someone's at fault. I don't know. It's just an assumption, but like Disco Inferno said, if he's watching this stream, contracts are made to be broken. They absolutely are, especially in this case. If someone at NASCAR looked at this game and thought that this was appropriate to be released, they're absolutely brain dead. Absolutely brain dead, because it's so obvious. But let's continue on. We already got through the point of him saying that, you know, the game was released and it wasn't perfect. Let's go back a couple seconds.
Always go as smooth, and that's kind of what we experience.
Kind of what they experience. Kind of. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. This isn't even a case of like, oh, you know, there's a couple. It's everything. Ryan Moody made a video. And it was a 2.5-minute clip from him booting up the game to him racing. It was 2.5 minutes. And 12 issues occurred in 2.5 minutes. Whether it be graphical loading or load times being really long or just issues across the board. Actually, you know what? Because we're live, we might as well do it here. We might as well just go and watch it here. Well, not the video, but like, I can show you the video I'm talking about. So, here's the issues. In just 2.5 minutes. Graphic glitch loading. Massive load time. Audio sync issue when loading track. Pre-race cutscene shows full pit lane. Pit lane now empty at the setup screen. Game boots the race entry twice. Cars floating. Spotter costs 3 wide for no reason. Cars floating. Cars floating. Okay, even if you want to argue, oh, it's not 12, it's maybe it's 11 because they repeated the points. That's still 11 issues. Okay, maybe 10. Because he said why bother. But like 10 issues in 2.5 minutes. That's pathetic. Like even the subtlest things of just going from screen to screen sometimes can have some weird like technical bug. It's bizarre. It's baffling. So don't say it's kind of not ideal. No, don't say kind of. All right, let's see what's more.
However, we still are really, really committed to working on creating the best possible experience, the most authentic and joyful NASCAR gaming experience. And one of the things that we believe to show you our commitment is that we want to get even better at being more transparent and more authentic on our intentions. So we launched this town hall concept.
Okay. Hey, you know what? It's a start. That's admission of guilt of not being more transparent, which has been very clear. They've been hiding in their bunker for months, only releasing stuff about DLC. So that's a start, but they should probably know better that this game was not ideal when it was going to be launched. I don't think they needed to tell people that. I don't know. It's
where we're giving you the opportunity to ask us anything and allow us to showcase on how transparent we are.
That's not anything new. I mean, even 704 Games is guilty of this, because but they would when some of that stuff, when people did like Q&As and stuff, a lot of that was the same issues as this here. Softball questions, deflecting. So yeah, it's not, that doesn't, I wouldn't take this like literally that this is like, anything they say, you have to take it with a grain of salt and be very skeptical. At this point in time, we got no reason to believe all their statements. So let's listen. Let's just keep on going.
And we'll respond to those questions. Your feedback is really, really valuable to us. It allows us to not only get better today, but also shape the products of our future. And we really, really appreciate you taking the time and asking us questions and sending us feedback and telling us what you really enjoy and some of those things that don't bring you the experiences that you would like.
boy, that's almost like every aspect of this game, whether it's almost anything. But I actually got reached out to Rusty. Rusty reached out to me asking to submit a question. I didn't do it. I don't want to be a part of this whole thing with asking a question and then what we later find out, them kind of rolling around the question or deflecting or saying, oh, that'll be next year. It was ultimately a waste of time. I knew it was going to be a waste of time, and that was kind of the case. We'll see as we go on. But I want no part of this. I want no part of being the part of the Q&A. They should honestly know better that this game was a disaster. I mean, people have made videos for years. Disco Inferno's been doing it for 10 years. I've done it for, this is going to be my 6th year. Well, I guess, yeah, technically my 6th year, 2016. So, there's nothing new that we need to keep addressing. Like, it shouldn't be hard to find what, fans would want. It really shouldn't. But we'll keep on going because this is when the Q&A portion starts.
So I could continue on saying on how committed we are and how much we're pushing this franchise forward, but let our actions speak louder than words.
That's really awkward because they're going to be releasing like DLC and stuff sometime this month. It's not a good look, but they have other stuff too. So, but again, it's nothing really. Private lobbies, but only 6. Only can use 6. Still can't change the track. Still can't change the race length. Still can't adjust the tire wear or other different like minute things. So it's really just pointless. So they implemented private lobbies. They're going to implement it, but you're not going to be able to do all those other sort of options. So it's almost pointless. Again, league still can't happen. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for when this will eventually get better. Maybe by 2030. But some other company takes over. Or maybe none. Maybe that would be the option.
But in the meantime, let me take you on an inside look of the NASCAR 21 Ignition and answer some of those questions. Thank you.
I'll read it so we know what's going on. Will you add a rear view and or side view mirrors to the game? Submitted by Jordan Campton.
Yeah, so lots of people have been asking about the rear view mirrors. So we had originally planned NASCAR 21 to be a next-gen only release. But as we were developing the game, we saw that there weren't enough of the next-gen consoles being sold in. And we recognized that the majority of our community were going to be remaining on the previous generation of consoles. So we took the quite difficult decision to actually, scale the game back to run on these earlier generation machines, and that's why we had to make this compromise. So you'll see that players on PC do.
So now mirrors are a next-gen feature. That is just too hard. How? I was fine with that first half of that statement about not being for next-gen content. I was fine with that. It was a little disappointed, but I was fine with that. But mirrors, it was just too much. What year are we in? That's just embarrassing to even say. Props to him for coming out, for just being on camera and saying it. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But that's not it's like the implication. It's like this is a next-gen feature. And, like, we had to scale the game back by not have... Do you understand when you have a racing game and not have mirrors? It's fundamentally... fucked. Ooh, I know. Bad word. The Xbox One and PS4... Obviously, there's last-gen consoles. But these are consoles that are just completely incapable of handling mirrors. Should we go down the list? Heat 5, 4, 3, 2, and Evolution actually had mirrors. The F1 games definitely had mirrors. I mean, a lot of games had mirrors if you're in a racing game that wants to be taking itself seriously. Even Xbox 360 had it. PS2. PS1 had mirrors. Granted, it's not top-of-the-line graphics or anything. Usually it's not ideal, quality, but something? How? No. That's... Even if... It's like... It's so sad that this is the state that we are in, where mirrors just it's sad. It's really embarrassing, and that's just pathetic. What word do I say? How can the PS4 not handle mirrors? How can the we're not talking about like Atari we're not talking about Nintendo Entertainment System, which maybe even that has mirrors, but we're not talking about freaking we're not talking about the first video game system ever made. Like, we are in the 7th, 8th generation. Bullshit. Bullshit. Like, oh my god. He does say they have it on PC, which I swear. Sometimes I see some people have it, sometimes they don't. Obviously, those aren't in great graphics, but the mirrors, even then, the mirrors are only in the cockpit, not on all the other things. Which this guy will like to say that it's for realism. We did this decision for realism, and that's why it's not there. Not giving the option to the players, not giving the option to, like, hey, here's everything you would need for, like, a HUD, and then you can go into, like, the options and kind of, like, customize on or off. NASCAR 15 did that. 14 did that. I'm pretty sure Inside Light did that as well. But, yeah, that's one of the things. He says they did that for realism, so, yeah. It's what a disaster. What a disaster. So that's what he's going to say next. So even that one aspect, it's only in the cockpit and nothing anywhere else. So, and even then, you only can see like half of it with your eye, unless you're constantly driving and like constantly moving the analog stick or doing something else. If your wheel can even work. So, yeah. So it's there in the cockpit. But you only can see it with like half your eyeball. So we got that. But yeah.
You have the rear view mirror, and I'm hopeful that with our next gen upgrade that's coming later this year, we may be able.
In April. So it's going to take until April to potentially, possibly, maybe have that. Let's count on our fingers, ladies and gentlemen. November will be 1 month. December, January, February, March, April. 6 months. 6 months it might take to get a mirror. Total. That is sad. That is sad. I guess we'll wait and see if it's in there. If it's literally, no matter, it's literally in the position. No, this game is not better than any game combined. No, that's wrong. Not even close. Not even close. Physics, okay, maybe. But literally everything else, no. No. So, yeah. April. It might be there. It's one of those things where even if they don't implement it, oh god, so sad. To me, it's like my brain's melting. So it's either they're screwed either way. If they do implement it, well, congratulations. It took 6 months after the fact to actually put in the game, when who knows how many people are left to even play it. And 2, there's like rumblings that this game's gonna this next thing is gonna come out in the summer or something, because I don't know, it would make more sense because they released it so late. But yeah, Heat Evolution was the worst game ever until this game came out, and then people stopped crapping on it. Simple ask yourself this: what reason do you? I didn't. They gave it to me for free, and even so, even if I paid the bare minimum $60, that is my job to purchase the game and then review it, advising other people not to get it. That's the bullshit excuse I want. That's pointless. But yeah, that's where we're at. So let's just keep on going.
Able to reintroduce mirrors for console players, but if you're running on the low end PS4s and the base level Xboxes, you're still not going to have a mirror in NASCAR 21.
Will you add fuel gauge, tire wear indicators, NASCAR 20 Edition, or in future NASCAR games? Submitted by David Horton.
Yeah, we've had a few questions about this, and the approach we wanted to take was one of authenticity. I feel that so many games out there today are essentially play by numbers. You see all the information delivered to you in the HUD, and you're able to react to it in a way that's not that authentic to how the drivers get to drive these cars in the real world.
Bold claim. Bold claim. To not even implement it at all, because for realism's sake. Yet the crew chief always saying, "We're gonna be pitting in 5 laps. We're gonna be pitting in 5 laps. Pit this time. You're still good on fuel. Still good on fuel. Still good on fuel." No, and even then, even for the realism aspect, how about you give us those options, and then the player, get to choose if we want that on or off. NASCAR Thunder 04, you can turn off every fucking HUD. And you can get that, you get more of a simulation experience through that alone. By just turning off the HUD. See, that's what happens when you give the player like all the options. That gives, all the options in the world to do whatever we want. If we want as much HUD things, go for it. If not, then good. That's your experience you want. But to say no, everybody must play it this exact way. It's so fundamentally fucked. It's unreal. It is honestly unreal to think that was a proper decision. And even so, what about data information, numbers, this and that? NASCAR has that to some extent in real life. Geez, what comes up every race when you watch a race? Wow, who would have thought? How many laps you could run on a tank of fuel? Sometimes it'd be like 40, 45 laps, that's the estimated. Tire wear, sometimes it could be like 50, 55, 60, we got numbers for that. Tire wear, okay. He mentioned tire wear, but, eventually, tire wear, after you pit, you could look at your tires and you can figure out the percentage. iRacing does that to an extent. Okay, that maybe tire wear, still bullshit, but I can kind of understand that. Even still, you want this. How can you make a game where you both want to make it be like arcade-ish, but also be sim, but then be like, no, it's only sim, and then have no arcade elements? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You can't just force a player to have whatever exactly you want. I don't care whoever the person is on Earth. They would like to have that option at the very least. We are in the year 2022, and we can't have that option to have all the how many laps can we run on a tank of fuel? How long can our tires last? The temperatures, all that stuff. Is it really that hard to implement it? Don't give me the bullshit. Oh, it's realism. It's realism. No, that's bullshit. That is so. This is, and it's insane. It's insane to me that they thought that was a good decision.
In the real world, there's no tire wear indicator. Essentially, the driver's feeling the tires go off in their hands. When it comes to fuel, really all you get is a fuel pressure warning when you have to switch over to your reserve tank. There's no full fuel gauge showing the tank draining. So this is something that the driver works with their crew chief to strategize around.
Even then, the game doesn't even do that right. The crew chief constantly says, even on the first lap, he says, "Oh, you're going to be pitting in 5 laps." Doesn't matter the race length. Doesn't matter the percentage of the race length. No matter what, sometimes he'll just say it randomly. Sometimes it'll be like, "No, 5 laps till we pit. 5 laps till we pit. Pit this lap." It's completely pointless to even listen to your crew chief because he doesn't give you any accurate information. So it's completely pointless. So even on that basic aspect that they were trying to go for, they couldn't even do that right.
And they make choices as the race goes on. Now, we are, after all, making a simulated experience. It is something I think we can do a better job of informing the player about. But we need to be careful about how much of this information we produce on screen versus the experience we're trying to deliver.
That doesn't give me hope that's ever going to come in. This might be one we have to have a war with, to have basic features. I thought Heat Evolution was bare bones. It's sad. We might have to make a big deal about this or something. Not like harass people. I'm not saying that. That's stupid. But like, I think we're gonna have to complain about it and be immature children about it.
So we want to strike a good balance between authenticity and information for the player in the future.
Will custom setups be added to the game?
Yeah, this is a great question. It's something that we wanted to focus on as we move towards the next gen cars. We see it's a really good place to introduce the feature because these cars have loads of new adjustments and settings compared to the cars that ran in 2021. So it's something we'll be looking to do as we move into the next game.
Okay, that question I can live with, but why did it take almost 3-4 months to address that? Because in one of Radman's videos, he on the data pad it showed like a car setup screen, so that led us to the assumption that maybe in the next gen cars would have that, which would make sense, but still not having it at all and not explaining why. Not a good look. Makes you look really bad. So yeah, it's one of those cases where if they do actually put it in, congrats, but that took months to do. And the other thing is, why take this long to like eventually tell us what that is? That should have been like that should have been told like really early on in before the game even came out. So it's a good answer, but it's riddled with more questions about all the other stuff I was just mentioning. Is it possible to add an option to turn off motion blur? This one is kind of a filler question because they already have like a patch, notes in their roadmap about it. Obviously, maybe this person sent in this question before that roadmap even came out. So, yeah. So this is kind of a filler question because it's going to be coming out. This isn't like this person's fault or anything, because probably they sent this in before that roadmap thing even was posted. But yeah, I don't know why they posted that, because it's already like they already have it in the roadmap, so there's really no point to even have this in here. Especially that it's pre-recorded. This could be cut out. A few
people have been asking about this. It's actually really complicated. So we could add a toggle for motion blur, but the effect that is actually seen in game is a combination of a number of factors.
What's confusing is it's on Steam. Maybe it's still more of a graphical thing, because Steam's... I mean, obviously it's on PC, so it's going to be in higher graphics, but... I don't know. It's weird to say that it's going to be tough, but they already have it in their roadmaps that they're going to do it. So I don't know.
Motion blur is included in that, but there's other post-process effects at play. There's anti-aliasing, and there's a frame rendering and updating algorithm. So all of these things kind of combine together to give the effect that you're seeing. So adding that toggle, which is feasible, may not actually alleviate your concern. So what we're going to look at is how we can perhaps combine all of these settings together. But it's something that we'd only be able to do in the future.
Again, it's a filler question. Don't know why that was in here. That's a good minute or something that could have been shaved off just from answering that question. I don't know how long that little part was, but that didn't need to be there. That was just not relevant to the thing, because they basically already answered their question that in the roadmap. Will you be adding support for more wheels, shifters, and pedals? I'm sure Disco Inferno will want to know this answer, because he still can't play the game. So this would be nice.
Yeah, so we're working on adding support for more wheel manufacturers where we can on NASCAR 21. When it comes to adding things like H-pattern shifters to the game, this is something that we're looking to do in the future. And we're also hoping to add more adjustments to the wheel settings so that you'll be able to customize your experience more. We know that this is something that's really important for wheel users, and it definitely is going to come into play more as the game gets more competitive, because people will want to be able to set their wheels up so that they can get the best performance out of them.
Now, obviously, I'm not in a position to really discuss the wheel stuff because I don't use it on a wheel. But yeah, they better. They better. Poor Disco Inferno still can't play the game. So that would be nice. Can you add custom schemes to career mode?
So this is a good question. In the career and ignition, you're essentially signing a contract and running for an existing Cup Series team. So you're always going to be jumping into their car with their existing paint scheme and their sponsors. So we felt it didn't really make sense for you to have your custom scheme in there, essentially allowing you to run whatever sponsors you like or whatever colorways you're running. It makes sense for you to have with their contract.
My
and running
brain,
for an
like
existing Cup Series. In the career and ignition, you're essentially signing a contract and running for an existing Cup Series team. So you're always going to be jumping into their car with their existing paint scheme and their sponsors. So we felt it didn't really make sense for you.
Oh, it's not realistic. Boy, that's just sad. Is it really that hard? Oh, it's not. It's not realistic to have the player run their own custom schemes in their game. They want you to play their game how they want you to play it. Like, again, having that option would be nice. I don't want to hear the bullshit of, oh, NASCAR license thing, they won't let you do it. Bullshit. It's a game. Let the player play the game however they want. If they want to add M&Ms to a Chevy car, let them do it. That shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be a problem or any other issue.
The excuse for no mirrors really blindsided me.
Yeah. Yeah, the balls on the man to say that. You know, props to him. I can't even be upset. Because he had the gonads to be on camera and say that. Say such a farcical reason. It's just one of those things where what's like it could be like contradicted still, because like, well, you could run the scheme in like a race now, but that's not realistic because that's not a car in the real schedule. So it goes both ways. It swings both ways. So that question is just, boy, maybe this is why the game is in such a shit state, because the devs just don't know what they're doing, or the decisions that they make. I don't know. This definitely gives us some more context for some of these decisions. That's for sure. Maybe it's not all. Maybe there's different blame for somewhere else.
You to have your custom scheme in there, essentially allowing you to run whatever sponsors you like or whatever colorways you're running.
Can you add custom names or gamer tags to the card schemes? I'm pretty sure this is just referring to having like your name on like the name rail of the car, or like your gamer tag or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, when it comes to custom schemes online, this is absolutely something that we want players to be able to do, but we have to make sure that there are the necessary reporting mechanisms in place.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so what if it's offline? What if it's offline? What? If it's online, sure. Maybe he clarifies that. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he says for like online purposes.
Yeah, when it comes to custom schemes online...
Okay, he does. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. For online, yes. For online, there's a whole slew of things you have to be careful of with, that stuff. You can't have somebody running, offensive shit on there. So I get it. I understand that. That is fine. But what about offline, though? Is it that hard to put your name or username on the name rail of your car offline? Like, that shouldn't even be like a question.
This is absolutely something that we want players to be able to do, but we have to make sure that there are the necessary reporting mechanisms in place. so that players are able to report schemes that they find offensive or they don't want to see on their own system. And that's extremely complex. So it's something that we're working on, but I can't promise that we're going to see it for NASCAR 21. With regards to getting your name on the car, that's something that we're investigating for the future as well. NASCAR have shared the new windshield banner designs for 2022, and we see there as being good opportunity for the player to get their name on the car through that system.
Why does it sound like that's like gonna be a big deal to do? I don't understand half the time. For offline, that should be like a no-brainer. Again, this is like minute details that there's more grand problems that we should be focusing on. But I'm just saying that sounds like a relatively simple thing. You know, maybe it's, you know what, it's not realistic because none of us are, you know, maybe most of us, 99% of us aren't actual race car drivers. So, you know, it's not realistic to put your name on there because we don't exist. I don't know, but yeah, for offline it shouldn't be a problem. But I don't know why it's like, sounds like it's gonna be like a hassle. That's the implication that I kind of got from that. What if your name is offensive? I agree. Will you bring back celebrations and burnouts to future NASCAR games? I think that's a fair point, but again, some of these, that's such a small issue in the grand scheme of things that it's not really important. But I mean, it would be nice. Again, victory lane celebration, or at least be burnout. It sounds like it would be like a no-brainer to do, but I don't know.
Yeah, we get this question a lot. It's definitely not going to happen in Ignition, but I'd love players to be able to celebrate their victory in their own way. We're currently looking into ways in which we can do this, but I think, you know, obviously allowing the player to celebrate with a burnout, maybe smoking the tires against the catch fence or going and running across the grass and tearing up the beautiful track logo, are various options there. There's also potential for allowing the player to choose different victory animations. So when they get out of the car in victory lane, they're punching the air or they're holding their steering wheel up like Joey Logano. So
because I hate Logano, I have to point this out. Logano wasn't the first person to do the celebration of the wheel. Dale Earnhardt did that. Maybe somebody else did it much sooner, but that is an Earnhardt thing because he did that at the 94. It was the one road course when he had at Sonoma. But yeah, I don't understand. I agree. 54 car. I don't know why it sounds like they need a massive team for like any kind of change. It's literally a name. I agree. Like, do they have to go through NASCAR and be like, hey, can people do that? Like, are we that like, if NASCAR is that much of a tightwad, then I would just be better without a game. I would just be better because, like, if they're gonna be that stingy, Jesus Christ.
There's loads of stuff we could do here, and we're currently investigating ways that we can make that happen.
We bring back challenges to future NASCAR games. Again, challenges aren't really, because there's so much wrong with this game. I don't know if they'll answer the question of like, oh, will there be multiple series in the game? We have so much problems with this game right now that we need to like have, like, that should not even be part of the drawing board. That was another problem with Monster Games in 704 when they did Heat 2 is add the other series, because did that really make the game more in depth? No, not really. You got to fix the core aspect of the game and then you can expand. Fix that core and then you can properly expand on it. But yeah, this isn't too important. I was kind of surprised there wasn't any, because usually in any of the NASCAR games in the past there has been some kind of challenges up for like NASCAR 15. But yeah.
Yeah, this is an interesting question. Challenges are something that we'd love to bring back into future games. But I'd really like to make challenges that reference events that happen in the real world during the season, rather than just creating a list of scenarios that you kind of play through. So my dream would be to create challenges, you know, that are based on scenarios that happened in the race that weekend and bring them into the game using a live service.
Live service for challenges? Are you fucking kidding me? You had me in the first part. with you That's a great it's a great screen grab, screenshot. But the challenges, that first part I agree with. The Heat games, sometimes they were based on real challenges, most of the time they weren't. I would like them to be based on real challenges or real events, and then you can recreate them or do other, stuff like that. Put you in this driver's position and get to lead in this amount of laps or dodge a wreck. That stuff. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But having it be live service, fuck no. Fuck no. 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 Keep live service, another microtransaction bullshit and team stuff out of it. Out of it.
So there's lots of ways that we can do this, and I think it's something that I'm super interested in doing in the future. But currently, it's something that we'll be doing in future games. So
yeah, have me in the first half, but that second half, no. Stay away from live service stuff. That's yeah, and yeah, you brought up a good point. The live challenges in Heat 5, they only did it for like a week, then they stopped. It was pointless. So no. Again, this is like small. It's a small thing, but at the end of the day, this stuff shouldn't even be part of the drawing board. Like they gave us a game that's not even in beta. Like it's not even alpha beta state. So yeah, and somebody said, why are we complaining about a game? This is the issue when you have Rabin perpetuate a point about being complaining about something as being like immature, and then that message gets sent across, and then you get people like that want to shut down people that are criticizing the game and for making that point across. How dare they? They should be silent, because apparently nothing is done when you be silent. That's just how the world works, apparently. But yeah. So yeah, essentially the first half you got me, the other half no. Will split screen and multiplayer be added to the game? That's another thing I didn't even think about, that this game didn't even have its split screen. Oh my fucking god. It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, split screen isn't a big deal. It's weird. It's weird that the game doesn't even have split screen. The same thing with Heat Evolution. Don't even know why that's a thing. He too really promoted that aspect that had split screen. Holy shit, I know that was wild, but it's weird. Obviously, I mean, it's a reasonable question, but again, they're handpicking kind of questions they can sort of like answer away. Like with the game being so much of a mess. Is split screen really something that you want to address in this town hall thing? No, the town hall should be really about the hard hitting questions, or kind of asking the questions that would probably make them feel uncomfortable. Sometimes it's okay to get a little uncomfortable if you have to ask a question or answer a question. Yeah, we'll listen to it.
So a few people have asked about this. We recognize that split screen is a great way to play together. I personally love playing video games with my kids, so I get how cool it is. But right now we don't have any plans to support split screen. It's something that I'd love to try and do, but I think that's going to happen in the future.
Again, they walk around this question. It would have been just better to say, we were trying to make sure the game was... Honestly, it would have just been better to say we were trying to get this game to be as functional as it possibly could, and split screen was just not part of our plans because we had other things to worry about, and that just wasn't the priority. Because honestly, split screen isn't a big priority anymore. So, and he mentioned his kids, but wasn't there somebody saying at when they were at Daytona, they said they based the game's driving mile on if their kids can play it? Is this the same? Is this? I don't know. But I remember that. I remember that quote. But yeah. Do you plan to improve car stability? They spin way too easily, especially after contact with walls. Other cars. Again, a fair question. I think this is pretty good. A pretty good question. Do you plan to improve car stability? one of the biggest problems with the car is turning to the right on the straightaways. Some of their short track like default setups are horrendous, and the only way to really mitigate that is just having steering assist on medium. But then it makes the car balls tight, and then it's just not really interesting to drive because you have to pretty much handicap yourself so much. He's gonna. I'll let him answer. I'll let him answer.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think with all of the assists off, the car is pretty challenging to drive.
Or you could basically say impossible, because Moody does it in his videos, and he like wrecks right away. Someone that I would think would have some kind of understanding of how a car drives or how the car should act. When he was a beta tester for iRacing, he did race car shit, so I would think he would, of all people, understand. Having them off is literally impossible. Literally off is impossible. For example, the Charlotte Roval, you can't even go on the oval part of the track unless you had traction on high and steering assist on medium, because if you just have it on high for like traction, you can't even go on the oval. You can go like 130 and then you wreck. How's that possible? I know I did iRacing in my short time. I did the Roval 1 week, the 1 week it was there. You can go on the oval and you don't need to go 130 and spin out. That's not even like even remotely close in this game. It's just one of those weird things. Don't tell me that it's difficult. It is literally impossible.
This is due to the more authentic physics and.
Oh yeah, authentic physics. I love it. I love it when I race a car, even in iRacing, and turning to the right a slight bit just wrecks it. I love that. I love that. He probably just played on like the steering assist on like medium and traction on high, or even both, all of it on. Oh, well, yeah, maybe steering on high and traction on high, and then he never even experienced that. It's just weird that more steering assist is easier, but then off, it's well. Oh my god, I caught myself in a stupid loop. But it's weird how, medium it doesn't do that, but off it's just it's gross.
Tire model that we're using for ignition. I do agree that we could do a better job of giving players better feedback, so when they're losing control, they get the information they need to help them react better. I think for now, our focus is turning towards the next gen car, and we'll be looking to improve the car stability as we work on the new physics for that vehicle. But for now, I think if you're struggling, I'd like to recommend that you turn some of the assists on. We worked really hard to get those assists, helping players keep control of the car.
Oh yeah, I love it when I have a medium assist on and like the car drives for me if I go off to like the track. You saw it in the Charlotte Roval one. I don't know if that's up yet. No, that was last season. I was off the grass a little bit, and the car turned me to the right and into the wall. Is that fun? Is that right? No. The problem with medium assist is it makes it easier, but the car, it doesn't really feel right. It's one of those things that's hard to kind of explain because you kind of have to just kind of feel it out when you're playing. But when you have it on medium, the car is extremely tight. Even on a loose setup, it's still extremely tight. It just does things. Like road course racing is an absolute joke with it. I don't know if it was fixed in a patch road, but when I was playing it earlier on, like if you go off the track a little bit, or if you hit like the curbs, sometimes it'll just veer you into the wall. So it's a mess. So technically, I mean, the only thing I would say is either have traction on medium or high, and ABS on. That's like the only two things I would say that would give you a fighting chance. But yeah, yeah.
And I'd encourage you to do that.
Can you update the game to allow a player to control in the pit lane? Well, actually, if I go on my Firefox, it's like 50-50 on the dislikes or something. Let me bring up my Firefox thing here. I can bring up the video on this. I think I have it copy and pasted. But yeah, the dislikes, it's not looking good. It ain't looking good at all for the likes. Where is it? This video here. I'll just bring this over here. So yeah, That is 127 to 76. That is a nearly over 50% dislike. Not a good ratio at the moment. So that's where we're at with that. But yeah, can you update the game to allow players to control in the pit lane? Again, one of the small things that on the scale to even really like want to have happen, especially with the core game being so broken. It's really frustrating because, I mean, these are reasonable questions, but they handpick these questions because these are ones that are like probably one of like more easier to kind of answer, and that's one of the problems. So yeah, it's so far on the scale of like questions to ask. So.
Yeah, we've had a few people ask about this, and it's something we're going to look to do in the future. In order to make it happen, we really need to get more rules and penalties into the game so that we can police player behavior as they drive manually through the pit lane. So we're going to get those rules and penalties in place first, and then we'll look to introduce manual pit stops.
Yeah, like I said. I mean, it sounds good on paper. But again, there's so much other problems with the game, so many other issues. That's one of the least of my worries. Because half the time the AI can't even get the car down pit road, and they gotta fix the car when you pit. It makes you go a lap down. That's a whole other like shit show. So that's like that's such on a small end of the scale of like things to address. You can add a feature where you can drive from the garage to the track for rolling starts. Driving the car from the garage to the track, I don't give a shit about. That's not a fair question for the person asking, because I think that would be a good idea in the future. But for them to handpick this question out to discuss, I don't give a shit about that. There's no point. I can't tell you how many times I watch a Real Admin video and like 7 or 8 minutes is spent on the intro, sometimes a sponsor, then a couple minutes going through the garage and all that. I don't give a shit. Obviously, I can skip, obviously, but I don't care if a game has does it make the game better that it has a garage that you can drive around and there's like very accurate details of. Wow, they focused their one aspect of the game on something that's completely pointless, like the garage and how it looks. You don't need that. You don't need that. Though it does kind of tell us that was something that they planned on doing, but they just couldn't do. Rolling starts. I don't know. We'll let them answer.
It's a great question. Personally, I think it's something we'd like to improve on. As I agree, it would be really, really cool to get pushed out of the garage and then drive through the infield and out onto the track. It's not something...
Well, you can already do that now. I mean, you have to kind of go in there yourself, but you can... Whatever.
We can currently add to Ignition, but I do think we can improve the immersion of heading out onto the track as we work on future games. You know, perhaps joining a practice session from the blend line, or starting qualifying from the end of pit road and actually heading out onto the track, making sure your tires are at an optimum point when you hit the start line, so that you can maximize your qualifying performance.
The only part I think that would be worthwhile is getting out of pit road, doing your qualifying lap, getting up to speed in your way, because a lot of times it just throws you on the track, and a lot of times it only gives you one lap, and then that outlap, whatever the AI speed gives you, is slow. This has been an issue even back to the Thunder games where they always like the outlap, that first very like lap, like the AI speed that it gives you before it takes you take control of the car. You're always slow. That's just seems to be like a thing. But at least in those games, it gives you 2 laps, so that's good. But in this game, it gives you 1, and then like the mile and under it's 2 laps. So that's just one of the other many issues. But yeah. Do you have plans to improve the AI so they use more of the track and avoid wrecks? I'm gonna say I think this is the part where I think I stopped, or my brain zoned out. But if I had to guess, it's gonna say something like having the AI go off the track using like off the track limits at like Phoenix and stuff, that's gonna be almost next to impossible to code, because even the Heat games, Utenix, they never really could do that. Like the AI just couldn't do that. So I don't think that'd be possible. Obviously, avoiding wrecks, they kind of sort of did that in the patch, where instead of them just running into wrecks, they just stop. So I don't know. That's my guess.
We get loads of questions about our AI, and we're always looking to improve them. I think to get the AI running competitively in Ignition, we had to get them running really, really aggressively.
What? What? Wow, well, that explains one of the problems. So maybe that explains why the AI just absolute dog shit. Where yeah, it's yeah, you'll see it in one of my Richmond videos that's gonna be coming out soon. That was a disaster because they always just crowd you, and it's like so frustrating. So yeah.
And that often leads to them struggling to avoid wrecks. So we have made a bunch of improvements here, and we're trying to get them using more of the track, looking out for wrecks ahead. While
they just stop, they don't look around for like to avoid it. They just stop. At Phoenix, I was just screwing around. I wrecked myself. My car was like up against the outside wall. Literally, just up against the outside wall. The cars have so much room to go by me. They just stop. They stop for so long, they just disappear. So if I really wanted to win a championship in that game, I could just park my car up against the outside wall, and they stop, and then they'll just start disappearing, and then I'll win the championship because they're all in the garage. What? They don't try to avoid wrecks. Like when they see a car, they just stop. They used to just drive on through, but yeah, it's not even. Can you even say that's an improvement though? Can you even say that's an improvement for what they do now from what they did then? I mean, barely. But it's so far gone. It's so just embarrassing.
Also maintaining that aggression that keeps them competitive. It's a really fun.
Oh yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun when I'm at a mile and a half. And I just can't do it on Extreme. You've seen the series. I'm like the only insane person that did the series. Thank God. I if I was live streaming that, I would be probably clinically depressed. But yeah, on Extreme it's pointless. Even on like other different, even like Champions, sometimes Veteran, they're still like very aggressive. They have no spatial awareness 90% of the time. Some tracks are different. Sometimes they have a tiny bit more awareness, but it's a mess.
Fine-tuning balancing act that we're running here, but we're always looking to improve the AI behaviors.
Is there a fixed plan to prevent cars from starting sessions with damage? That'll be a nice question. That's fair.
Yeah, great question. We've actually already got a fix in for this that will be coming in the next update, so it should be something you'll see very soon.
Oh my God, they did it! They're gonna fix something. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm being hyperbolic, but I mean, yeah, that should not even be like. I mean, good. They got a win. They got a point. Why does the car seem to pull to left and not feel like it drives in a straight? Oh my God. They're going to say it's realistic because sometimes in the car, they have it aligned so the car kind of turns a little bit. God, this is going to be so fucking manipulated. I can feel it. Like the question itself, I'm not blaming anybody for these questions. I'm mainly just critiquing like the ones they pick and everything. He's gonna say it's realistic, which to an extent is true, but it does it so much. It's like ridiculous. I'll let him answer.
Yeah, great question. So again, this is down to the authentic car setups
There we go. Realism and authentic are the two key words I took from this video
that we're using on the vehicles. At many tracks in the NASCAR calendar, the cars are running a staggered setup due to their tires having different rollouts or circumferences on the right side of the car compared to the left. So that essentially allows the car to more easily turn left, but it does also mean that the car tends to want to steer left even when you're driving down the straights. So in the real world, the drivers get to offset their steering wheel to make...
Oh! We don't have that. We don't have it. See, that's the thing. They want to have their cake and eat it too with all this like realism shit. On paper, it's fine that the car turns left on those tracks, but it's so extreme. iRacing's not even close to being like that. It's generally pretty subtle, and you can kind of adjust your steering ratio to kind of not steering ratio, but you can. It's very like very clear. It turns to the left a lot. It's
make that more comfortable for them as
54 cars said it right. You can have a car pull to the left and still calibrate the steering to say that no input equals drive straight. Exactly. It doesn't need to be to that like extreme. They made it less realistic in the name of realism.
They're running down the straights. That's a setting we don't currently have in the game, and I think it's a running down the straights. Steering wheel down the straights.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so in the real world, the drivers get to offset their steering wheel to make that more comfortable for them as they're running down the straights. That's a setting we don't currently have in the game, and I think it's a setting that we should be looking to introduce in the future.
Oh my god. It's just handpicked questions that are like easy to answer. Like that one, like in it, like that question in of itself isn't that bad, but to the extreme lengths that it online races tend to start with a series of wrecks as players gain control of their cars. Any plans to fix this? That's a good point. That's dumb. Maybe they'll fix that.
So we know a lot of players have been finding this really frustrating, and we've actually got a fix in place for this that's coming in the next update, so you should have this fix very soon.
That's good. It's a shame it took 4 months for almost, November, but 3 months? 3 months to do that? Heat 5 has an offset option. Oh, damn, that's true. Well, that's nuts. But yeah, well, I'm glad that that's going to be fixed. 4 months after the fact, but it's going to be there no matter what. Do you have plans to reduce the minimum of number of players from 6 to... What? Wait. Am I reading this right? Do you have the plans to reduce the minimum? Okay, I'm so stupid. I thought they from 6 to 2 in a private lobby. I think that's a fair point. It shouldn't take up to 6 people to do it. That's a good question.
So we're really excited to be introducing the new private parties feature in the next update. Right now we're introducing it with these numbers because they felt best for us in testing, but we'll be definitely watching how the feature is being used by the community and adjusting them if required.
God, it's such a I'll be amazed if this company survives. It's just some of these decisions are so stupid. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. That's Jesus Christ. Are there plans to add additional online multiplayer features such as custom race lengths? Good. Track selections? Good. Add points, stats that would assist lead. Oh, it's Joey Stone that said it. Well, that's awkward. You know, he may be a shill, but I mean, he brought up good points. I can't even be mad about that. He brought up good points. Good points. I'm curious.
We hear the community loud and clear on this, and it's something we're keen to support in the future. For me, I think the first step here is to give players more control over the sessions that are being created. That way, as a community, you'll be able to run races according to your own rules. And then I think the logical next step from there will be some kind of league support that will allow admins to run leagues, keep track of the results and the stats, and actually aggregate all of those things together and essentially have a place where their leagues can be controlled from.
It basically will have it someday. It's basically it. Good question, good points, but the answer is just, it'll be there someday. What are the release dates for patch 1.40 and the playoff DLC pack? First question, I agree with. DLC, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the DLC pack. I don't care. But patch, the patch is always a big question because there's so much different approval things to go through and everything. If it's not exactly what he says, I'm not going to put fault on him. That's on that aspect of when things will get released. That's kind of when it gets approved. So that's kind of a little bit out of their hands. So I'm kind of curious what he'll say for this, but I'm not going to take whatever he says here to heart. Again, as if the patch will actually do something, but yeah.
Well, thanks for the question, Kyle. The next patch update 1.4.0.0 actually goes live tomorrow. Tuesday, January 25th, with the playoff DLC pack.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. So they're saying all this, and then the next day, hey, buy our DLC stuff. When the game is this broke, it has, it makes you look so bad. Oh, it makes you look so bad. I don't care if they feel so sorry for the game and its condition. It's bad. Bad management.
And the next legendary driver, Bobby Labonte, scheduled to go live on Thursday.
Oh my God, Bobby! Will they actually have the car right? They're 0 for 2 in actually making the car right. Darrell Waltrip, let's talk about that. The red isn't red is, or the orange, it's red. So they messed up the color on that. Matt Kenseth's car is almost right, but they have the green rectangle, which is supposed to be the Lexan, JC. I'm sorry, the Lexan thing. So instead of I don't know how could they not get approval for the windows that NASCAR spawns that they use on the cars themselves? How do they not use windows then? Is that again? I don't know, but yeah. Oh, that's good. DLC, I don't care. Bobby Labonte, don't care. They're probably gonna mess it up somehow, some way. But DLC pack, yeah, that's true.
January 27th.
Can we look forward to? Oh my God, I don't give a shit. Not this person's fault, but the fact that they chose to answer this question. Maybe they'll say that's not on our priority. We gotta fix this game first. That'll be sometime down the line, but we gotta make sure this game works first. That would be my ideal way to answer this question. Let's see. I haven't got this far in the video, so we'll see. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, this is a question we get a lot, Jake, from both the community on social media and at the track in person. Our ultimate goal for NASCAR 22 is to ensure that the NASCAR Cup Series Next Gen car is as accurate as possible in the game. We will look to incorporate the NASCAR Xfinity and NASCAR Truck Series into the console game in subsequent years, as we allow our development team to build those vehicles as accurate as possible. We know the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series is essential to the sport of NASCAR and is a huge fan favorite, so it is something that we are looking to incorporate. In previous NASCAR video game titles that did include the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series, when you got down to it, those vehicles drove very, very similar or the same. We want to make sure that these vehicles are accurate to life, and an Xfinity Series car drives like an Xfinity Series car. A Truck Series vehicle drives like a Truck Series vehicle, and it's not just all the same thing that you're playing as. So we want to make sure that we get that right and get that accurate. And first up on that is the next the Cup Series Next Gen car.
Okay, that's fair enough. I don't have a problem with that. That makes sense to me. I'm fine with that. I know that might be a controversial take, especially with the R Factor engine. It's very easy to kind of swap bodies and do other different stuff like that. But if that takes development time away from the game, I'd rather just have them focus on one thing and make sure that stuff is is right, and then expand on it. That's just my thought. But yeah. So far, that was a good answer to the question. How closely do you work with the drivers and teams to get data for feedback? Probably a lot, because they're associated with the BJ McLeod's team.
This is a really good question, Brian. We work very closely with not only NASCAR but the teams and the drivers when it comes to building our NASCAR video game. And I think our renewed partnership with Live Fast Motorsports that was recently announced is a perfect example of that commitment. Through that partnership, we'll have real-time data, access to real-time data from NASCAR Cup Series events, access to drivers and key team personnel, as well as setups and lessons learned throughout the entire course of the season. BJ McLeod and Matt Tifft are not only Cup Series regulars and NASCAR veterans, but they're also...
Matt Tifft really a veteran? With all due respect, I don't think BJ McLeod and Matt Tifft are ideal drivers to get data from. I don't think they're the high caliber drivers. I'm sorry, they might be nice people, but yeah, I don't think this is really gonna amount to much. We've heard this shit before with the Heat Games, Eugenics. We've heard all this stuff before, that they got it data from the drivers, and it didn't amount to much in terms of making the game a little better. So I don't. That's not really gonna save the game. This doesn't really mean anything to me.
Avid video game players and have a passion for NASCAR video gaming, and it's something that we all share and we all want to succeed. So, I think that partnership highlights this commitment a whole lot. But also, in addition, as we've been working on the next gen car, we've worked directly with NASCAR and team representatives and manufacturer representatives to access the latest CAD data and photo references for the next gen car. We have had a presence at multiple next gen tests, and just to see the entire industry work together on this, and for us to be a part of that, has been very encouraging, and I think it'll come across in the products that come out.
I like how they're more in tune with NASCAR with all this sort of stuff, but not to NASCAR about the state of the game and maybe pushing it back. Funny how that works. We continue to release PS4 and Xbox One versions of the NASCAR games. I think that's a fair question. I think they probably will. I mean, that's pretty much why they did 21 the way they did, so probably, if I had to guess. We continue to release PS4 and Xbox One versions. Yeah, they're probably going to say yeah. I'll be shocked if they don't, but I don't know. We'll see.
That's a good question, especially with the jump in next-gen consoles and the development there. We at Motorsport Games plan to release future NASCAR games for the PS4 and the Xbox One consoles, and expect to continue to do so as long as Sony and Microsoft continue to support those platforms. We will release on those as well.
Will you be adding cross... Oh, jeez. I don't care about cross-platform. I really don't. At least if there's an option to turn it off, that's fine with me. PS4 is a toxic cesspool of trash with trolls. And if there is no option to turn it off, then it literally just infects everything, and then you can't even have online like a nice online experience. In theory, I would like it to be like a yes, but have the option to be like no. Don't be like, okay, it's free for it. It's available for everyone. Have that option to cross-platform, or it's dead. Online's going to be even more dead than it already is.
Cross-platform play is something that we continue to look at for future NASCAR games. It's something that we're continuing to investigate, but as of right now, there are no plans to implement that for NASCAR 21 Ignition.
I'm fine with that. There's more problems to worry about than that. I'm good. How long will you support to add content to 21 Ignition? It's not. I mean, again, I'm giving this person the person that questioned this the benefit of the doubt. They probably sent this in before maybe the roadmap thing came out. I don't know, but I'm going to assume, based on deductive reasoning, that maybe sometime after April, because that's the last update they gave us for the roadmap. So that's my guess.
We continue to improve this gaming experience, at least for the first half of this year. and based on our promise that we're going to be more transparent with what we have going on here, you could foresee us letting you know what is really coming and when it's coming and so on. So don't hesitate to continue to send us comments on NASCAR 21 Ignition, because we continue to listen and we continue to improve this, at least for the first half of this year.
Basically what I was thinking. First half all the way up till June. I mean, it's not a surprise. I was thinking maybe April is when it'll stop. Wouldn't surprise me if it somehow continues, but I mean, I basically got, the answer I was thinking of. I mean, also they didn't really say like what else they had planned like past April, and they didn't even in the next gen update. They didn't even say specifically like, what is in this next gen update that's worthy of a next gen update. It's just gonna be the same fucking game, and with mirrors. Oh my god, mirrors! Oh. Maybe that's it, but everything else will probably be the same graphically and everything. I would be shocked if it's not, but I mean, yeah. Has release of NASCAR 21 Ignition and the need for multiple patches impacted motorsport games development for future games? Probably. It probably set them back because they don't have any like proper foundation. As a release of NASCAR and the need for multiple patches impact. I would have to imagine it's impacted them. I would have to imagine it's probably slow development for future games and even other games that they even plan on working and releasing next year. We can't even forget about that too. They're going to be releasing like 4 games: the IndyCar, BTC Touring, some other game, and then NASCAR. 4 games. Well, like I guess 3 this year, and then IndyCar. A lot of games. They barely could do 1. NASCAR 22 is just going to be NASCAR 21, but like less broken. That's my guess.
Well, we definitely have many learnings of launching this type of innovative product. But
innovative product. What? Why phrase it like that? Innovative product. NASCAR 21 isn't innovative. It's de-innovative. It's uninnovative. Don't use those words.
But the main key takeaway and our goals are to continue to strive to be authentic representation of the sport.
That would be nice. It would be nice too to have like national anthem not cut off midway, or be the same. It's not a big deal. I'm just, yeah.
And be a joyful experience. One takeaway is that we created some frustrations to some of you with this release.
Some. Again, even if you're reading from a script, I would just say that right away. I'm reading from a script. That's why it sounds like this. But I want to mention my points in a very articulated way to convey my message and point across. Don't say don't use that phrasing "we may have frustrated you." Don't say that. That's one of the worst things you could do in an apology, or even if an attempted apology is "we may have." It is it should be "I'm sorry, we have made you frustrated." Something like that. I'm no speller. I'm no English teacher, but don't say "we may have." Don't say don't say "may have some" or "some" for don't do that.
We created some frustrations to some of you with this release. That is something that we will work extremely hard to not repeat again. So our goals are on top of the list are really to be authentic, joyful, and fun. So not only that we could appeal to the vast majority of the hardcore fans, but also allow that 3-year-old to pick up that controller and really have a joyful experience as they enter the NASCAR digital world.
3-year-old. Let's have a sim drive. Let's have a 3-year-old drive a sim. Holy shit. Is what? What? You can't have it both ways. Either have it be like an arcade or be sim. But what's now their guy like saying we want realism. What a joke. So I gotta see that. I gotta hear that again. What? I guess a 3-year-old would probably like NASCAR, like this game. I guess a 3-year-old would really like it. They wouldn't have any like understanding of anything. Is that what NASCAR 21's made for a 3-year-old? I don't know, but don't say that, man. If that's out the script, then why is that in the script?
And really have a joyful experience as they enter the NASCAR digital world. But also allow that 3-year-old to pick up that...
But that other guy was just saying they wanted realism. How can a 3-year-old pick it like that? Yeah, because a 3-year-old's going to understand the concept of realism and properly, play the game right. Oh, that's a mess. Ball so hard, Will, with the $4.99.
This game is a joke. They want a 3-year-old baby to understand that there's no fuel gauge. That's so whack. Jesus.
I agree, ball so hard, Will. I agree. I mean, that phrasing is a fucking yikes. I mean, is that where we're at? That's where we're at. 3-year-olds it's for 3-year-olds. That should be like, I don't know. Jesus Christ, man. We are so fundamentally fudged. If that's the oh my.
Controller and really have a joyful experience as they enter the NASCAR digital world.
What are Motorsport Games' goal for future NASCAR games? What have been your key learnings from the release of? Oh boy, I don't know what they're gonna say. Something wild here. I'm ready.
Our main goal continues to be to create a really authentic NASCAR gaming experience.
For 3-year-olds. It's for 3-year-olds. How can you make it for like hardcore sims and then make it so casual that a 3-year-old can play it? I don't know how you're gonna do it. I mean, I know my first NASCAR game I played was like NASCAR 90, NASCAR 2000. I was 4. I was able to play that, but I don't think a 3-year-old's gonna grasp the concept of like the sim and like. Yeah, they're trying to please everyone and pleasing nobody. Honestly, I would just be more content with like them trying to make like an arcade game that has like sim aspects than trying to do this weird like in the middle, which they've been doing that for 10+ years, even longer. I don't know. It's gross.
That wouldn't just be endorsed by the hardcore fans or the majority of it, but also by the 3-year-old that looks to pick up the controller and really have a nice, joyful experience. So
am I still? No, he said it again. What? What? Holy! Oh my God. Anyone got? This is gonna sound bad out of context. Anyone got some 3-year-olds to play a NASCAR game to see if they could figure this game out? Like. He said that I thought I watched the same part of the video twice. No, it's in a different. It's this. Oh my God.
By the hardcore fans, or the majority of it, but also by the 3-year-old that looks to pick up the controller and really have a nice, joyful experience. So that continues to be our goal to be a.
Maybe there's a reason he isn't at Codemasters anymore. Maybe there's a reason. Oh man. I mean, it's good to have younger fans, but when it comes to a game, it's an idea to put their feedback. Yeah, let's have the 3-year-olds feedback on the game. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't even know if it's. Oh my God.
Authentic, joyful, and really fun. But our key takeaways is that we really need to polish our product.
Huh. Well, no shit. You gotta polish it. Oh, he said it. They got to polish the product. That's what they got. Why do I feel like I understand that concept better than someone that's like much older than me, if I had to assume? Yeah, you got to polish your product, you know? That's going to be almost impossible when you have a yearly sports title, because you are in this sort of kind of like, you know, binding position. Even like the best developers and best people, like EA, for example, in their day, releasing a yearly product, they eventually fell off the map with their games. Obviously, with the ideal thing, if I was in that position, which obviously would never happen, and there will never be a situation that they'll allow this, because they want that money, which is not really there. Everyone wants that dough, but they're gonna. I would just make a game like every 2 years, safe like NASCAR, like NASCAR Heat 5. Make like a 2021 DLC, and then release NASCAR 22. That would be my solution. And then have like DLC for like the 23 season, and then make a game in NASCAR 24 every 2 years. Even that might be pushing it too much in that, but like every 2 years, I think that would be fine. I think that would be better than every year, where it's not even a full year of development time. It might be like 9 months or 8 months or even less. That'll at least that way it will be a little bit better. But again, they won't be making that money as much doing it that way, and it won't please their investors as much, if they have any investors left, or if any of them trust them, considering he said that there was a majority positive. See, when it comes to the shareholders, he was saying everything he possibly could to make them feel better about the game, and then again, it's just, you know, when you have a person saying one thing and then doing another, you have to be very suspicious in their motives or just how they want to carry themselves. I don't know. I'm sus.
More for the product release, and make sure that we don't miss some of those really core components of the sport, like stages.
You didn't miss it. I don't know why you're saying that. Again, the phrasing, the wording, it's just manipulation at this point, because it's not that they didn't miss stages. It's literally in the game's code files. It's in the game. It's like literally when you look at the stats, it shows like the stats in like for like stages and stuff. And even in the caution, it says like final stage. It's not something they missed. It was an element that it sounded like they were gonna probably implement, but it just didn't work right. It's not that they missed the idea and concept of stages. It was there, but they just didn't implement it. It's very clear. It's not like it's not like a thing where it's like hidden deep in the codes and you have to go digging for it. It's like it's there in the game. You can go and look at the standings and you'll see like the stage, the stage positions and all that stuff. It's like it's very obvious. It's not like a secret. Disco Inferno with a 75-minute reaction. Fuck yeah.
Again, before releasing a game. So from those key lists, again, the really core components of the sport.
I'm just going back
stages,
so I can hear his point.
Again, before releasing a game. So from those key learnings and staying committed to creating a joyful experience, you could assure that we could continue to improve year in and year out. I'd like to thank you again for your time, to not just submitting the questions and giving us an opportunity to answer, but also sitting through this video. We really hope that this town hall format demonstrates our willingness to be
willingness, yet you disable chat. Willingness, but you disable chat. I thought this would be a live stream, but I guess it wasn't. I guess that's my fault for like thinking that, but yeah, I don't know, whatever. Let's finish this.
Transparent and our desire to stay in constant communication with you, to show you that the passionate group of individuals that are behind the scenes here, constantly working on improving the product, really care. So we hope that this is an example of one of many.
Doesn't really give me much hope.
Would like to set the precedent of doing this on a certain type of schedule, to assure you that we hear you.
More like please God, don't leave us. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see on all this stuff. But a lot of people aren't going to sit here and wait years and years to finally get a game. They're just going to wait, which they should. But yeah, I think yeah, let's just finish this. Let's just wrap this video up, and I can give my final thoughts.
And that we are working on constant improvement of that experience, so we could be that most joyful NASCAR gaming experience that anybody has ever tried. Thank you again for your time.
Well, they got a bar. They got a bar to leap to be the most joyful NASCAR experience when you have NASCAR Thunder 2004, Thunder 03, Dirt Daytona, NASCAR 5. I guess you could kind of throw that in there. Even NASCAR Heat. They got a steep, bar to climb to be the most joyful experience NASCAR game ever. I mean, if we're looking back at like EA, it took them 5-6 years. And that was already like a well-established company before they even got the NASCAR rates. With a startup company, or at least a startup company that made their, not really a startup company. I guess it is technically a startup company, but this is like their first game. It's going to take them, it's going to take years to be at the standard where NASCAR, probably maybe never. It's going to be, it's just, again, when you have such an embarrassing foundation, I don't know where you can go from there. I mean, good luck, because Steam charts don't look good. You barely got 24 people playing the game right now. And NASCAR Heat 5 has like over 100 on a daily basis. Maybe it'll spike up with those next-gen cars. It probably will, let's be honest. But no way in the right mind should this game be worth $60 or even $90. That is a scam in my eyes. And it's honestly amazing that Microsoft or Sony even approved this game to go through. Maybe they had connections or had some way that they know through those two that like let it kind of go by. I don't know, but this doesn't really give me much hope. I didn't really expect much. Kind of got what I was thinking of with maybe one or two questions. It's like, oh, okay, that's fair. Like adding multiple series by Mustache Guy. That was like a reasonable answer. It was like maybe those two good questions were from him, but Dmitry Kozkov, a character, definitely a character in the lore of this arc that we're in right now. Maybe NASCAR 22, maybe those 3-year-olds will have the input they need to make that game better. I don't know. But we're going to wrap this up. This was a long one. There was a lot to kind of break down and just laugh at. It was, it's funny. It's kind of horrifying. It's probably going to settle in that I'm going to be like crying later. Okay, I'm being hyperbolic, but yeah. After I finish this career mode, which will probably end coming out like February 4th or something, I'm going to be done with this game and not touch it again. I think I got everything I needed out of it. The Let's Play series had no right being even 30 plus parts. But, yeah. So, yeah. And I wanted to make this because Disco Inferno, as much as I like that channel, he doesn't get the exposure that he really deserves, and I want to be that person to kind of echo that out, and I have at least a little bit more of a platform to do it. And at the end of the day, I do want to try to be as critical and as fair as possible. But again, I have been burned so many times from these past games that I have reasons for it to being so cynical and angry, frustrated. That's just the reality of the situation. But yeah, we'll wrap up the stream here. That was almost 2 hours. Jeez, that was almost like a normal stream length. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you JC for the $10. I think that was Streamlabs donation. Kirkpatrick for the $3 super chat, and also Hardwell with the $4.99, which I appreciate. Nice to see Will in the chat. He good soul. But yeah, that was I'm gonna go watch Disco Inferno's thing because that's gonna probably be funny to watch him melt down. I don't know. I'm curious to see how much our thoughts are the same, because I know somebody said that's like, oh, you copied what his thoughts were. It's like, well, I mean, we think a lot alike. A lot of the times we have a similar thought pattern on it, but he's way more articulated because he's an old he old, but he wise. I'm not. I'm just a young, immature child. So, who I don't have my. Do I have a baby spoon? I don't have a baby spoon out by me, but we can pretend. But I'm going to get going. Thank everybody for tuning in. It was like a lot of people tuned in too. It was like 60, 70, which I am not used to those numbers. Oh my God. But, yeah, we're going to get going. So, I guess I'll see you all for something else. But yeah, I had to do it in this stream format. There was so much to talk about. Especially with the 20 minutes being a Q&A thing. There was a lot to go break through, and some of the decisions they made are fucking astronomical. Like a mirror, like, is it really that big of a deal? A PlayStation 4 game isn't, like, a system isn't capable of a fucking mirror. Don't give me that. I don't buy it.